Meeting.
Okay. Yes, I'd like to call to order the August 14th meeting of the Middlesex County Improvement Authority Board of Managers. I'm Paul Ivy, I'm Vice Chair, pinch hitting for Jim Nolan this evening. If we can please begin our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you would unmute, please. I pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the
flag
of the United States
of America,
and to the
the
republic
republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
Liberty.
with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Roll call. Carol, can you do the roll call, please?
Yes, I will, Vice Chairman. As you indicated, Chairman Nolan is excused this evening. Vice Chairman Abbey? Hello?
Yes.
You're here, okay.
Yes.
I can't tell, I need,
Sorry. Yes, I'm here.
I don't have a screen. Commissioner D'Agostino?
Here.
Commissioner Vasquez is excused, and Commissioner Yuckna?
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum. You can, I was going to say continue, but no, first I would like to introduce, I'm not sure who all is present. Normally we have our Executive Director, James Polos, William Brennan, our CFO. I am Carol Berlin from Rainier and Coughlin Mincello, representing the IA. I believe Christopher Langhart, our bond counsel, is on this evening. And usually Mr. George Devaney from Keywood Associates is here. Our IT representatives in attendance are Nate Rodriguez and Lucas Pereira.
Thank you, Carol.
And would you like me to read the sunshine statement?
Please,
Okay.
yes, please read the sunshine law.
This meeting today conforms with Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, called the Open Public Meeting Act, and as per the requirements of the statute, notification of the meeting was published in the Star Ledger and Home News Tribune and filed with the Clerk of Middlesex County.
Thank you. Are there any committee reports? James Polos, any updates for us?
Yes, thank you. Just a couple quick items. We've submitted our new bid specifications for a recycling contract to the state of New Jersey Division of Local Government Services for approval. We will be putting them out on the street sometime later this year. That contract ends in 2025 for our curbside recycling program. We received another positive inspection from the DEP at our leaf composting facility, so that's been very positive. The New Brunswick Cancer Institute parking deck is open on a temporary basis for construction workers. We started about 2 weeks ago, and that has been running rather smoothly, so we're really happy that that's been progressing as it has. On our train front, we continue to do design work and waiting for another set of approvals from the state for our North Brunswick train station. We also have meetings set up with the Department of Environmental Protection and some other agencies to move the project forward. Just received information from Amtrak, the load flow study that we completed. We should have information back from them sometime this week, so we're very happy about that. That's moving forward. And in New Brunswick, we're still continuing to finalize some concepts. And tonight on our agenda, we have the resolution to authorize the execution of the funding agreement with the New Jersey Transit for those improvements to the station in New Brunswick. So another step forward in that regard. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Is there any correspondence?
No, sir.
Old business?
No, sir.
New business?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Carol, can you please read the resolutions by title for the consent agenda?
Yes. 8A, resolution of the Middlesex County Improvement Authority authorizing execution of the funding agreement with Middlesex County and New Jersey Transit for improvements to the New Brunswick train station. 8B, resolution of the authority authorizing RFQ process for provision of sports franchise organizations to enter into tenant lease or leases at the Multipurpose Community Complex as part of the Community Innovation and Opportunity CIO Strategic Investment Plan. 8C, resolution of the authority authorizing professional services contract to THA Consulting for operational plan development for MCIA Parking Division. 8D, resolution of the Middlesex County Improvement Authority authorizing the issuance of county guaranteed capital equipment and improvement revenue bonds. 8E, resolution of the authority authorizing certain actions and approving certain documents necessary in connection with the issuance of the authority's proposed not to exceed $23 million aggregate principal amount of county guaranteed capital equipment and improvement revenue bonds series 2024. 8F, third supplemental resolution of the Middlesex County Improvement Authority authorizing the issuance of Middlesex County Guaranteed Lease Revenue Refunding Bonds, Middlesex Regional Educational Services Commission Projects, Series 2024. 8G, resolution of the authority authorizing certain actions and approving certain documents necessary in connection with the issuance of one or more series of the authority's proposed not to exceed $22 million aggregate principal amount of Middlesex County Guaranteed Lease Revenue Refunding Bonds, Middlesex Region Educational Services Commission Projects, Series 2014, and project notes issued in anticipation thereof. 8H, resolution of the Middlesex County Improvement Authority approving financing involving the refunding of all or portion of the outstanding county guaranteed lease revenue bonds, Middlesex Regional Educational Services Commission Projects, Series 2014, and requesting the Board of Commissioners, the County of Middlesex approval and consent. 8I, resolution for the payment of expenses for the authority.
Chairman, if I may, one moment.
Yes.
Sorry, I should have mentioned it in my committee reports. I apologize. I should mention that resolutions that are on tonight regarding the refinancing, so it's basically D, E, F, G, and H, were all discussed earlier today in a lengthy call with the local finance board. We had our finance team on for the monthly meeting of the local finance board to seek approval for the actions that are embedded within those resolutions. Essentially, it's two resolutions, one for the lease program that we do for equipment lease program for our municipalities. We have several municipalities that are participating in that this year, including Helmetta, Carteret, Dunellen, Highland Park, and South Brunswick, as well as the county. That program has been in existence since 1992, one of the most successful programs we have to utilize the county's buying power and AAA bond rating to help our municipalities save money in the purchase and leasing of equipment and vehicles. And the other items having to do with the refinancing this is bonds that had to do with financing for the Ed Services Commission. In a prudent move, they're taking advantage of the lower interest rates. This is a refinancing of that. It'll equate to an annual savings of about $70,000, about $750,000 over the life of the remaining portion of the bonds. So it's certainly a positive step forward as a finance savings for all the parties involved. And again, both of those items were approved today by the local finance board. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jim, for the additional information. Approval of minutes. Can I have a motion and second for approval of the July meeting?
Motion by Yusef.
Motion, Christine, second.
Motion second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Public comments. Is there anyone in the public who wishes to be heard on any of the resolutions? If so, please state your name and where you're from.
We do have one person raising their hand. I will allow them to talk now.
Yes.
Good evening, Commissioners. Charlie Cradaville, New Brunswick Today. I do want to ask about most of the resolutions, so I'll be quick. The funding agreement with New Jersey Transit, tell me, are there any timelines in this agreement, any information on when these improvements might actually be complete?
Jim Polos, do you have any information on that?
Sure. No, there's no specific timeline in that. The timeline will actually be developed as part of the engineering planning, Charlie. So once the engineer gets into the thick of actual design and plans, depends upon the depth of those plans and how complicated they may or may not be, will obviously determine the length of time needed to complete renovations. So we don't have a time frame yet.
Okay. If you can briefly summarize what the split is on the funding agreement, who is going to be funding the work? Is it mostly NJ Transit or mostly the county? Are there other partners?
Sure. Yeah, the funding is coming from the state. So that's from the state through New Jersey Transit to us. It's not a county-funded project. It's being funded by New Jersey Transit.
Got it. Thanks. I'll move on to 8B. I'd like to understand a little more about what role a sports franchise organization might play in the CIO plan. Is this something related to the stadium only? Might it also involve the proposed destination athletic complex? And what role does an organization like this play? I'm not familiar with what a sports franchise organization is. I would think of that as something like a sports team. But what is this kind of organization? How would they play a role?
Mm-hmm.
Jim, can you help us with that?
Sure. Charlie, the RFQ that's on tonight's meeting is basically to authorize the authority to request qualifications from professional partners in the sports and entertainment space. This is for the new multi-purpose community venue that's being constructed there. And basically, it's going to be an invitation to experienced sports franchise tenants to submit qualifications to be considered as a tenant in the new facility.
Got it. So when you say tenant, do you mean like there would be only one potential tenant and they would rent it out for years at a time? Or would this be something where you might rent the facility out for a single night or for a shorter term?
Sure. We envision this will be a multi-tenant type of operation. I guess we'll find out more as RFQs are submitted as to what the qualifications are of various partners. But the idea of having more than one tenant is certainly part of that whole plan and consideration.
Got it. And so when you say sports franchise, you are referring to like a team, like a baseball team or a sports team.
Yes, yes, that is correct.
Okay, thanks. I've got to ask about 8C. You're bringing THA Consulting back into the fold. Want to draw the Commissioner's attention to my August 25th, 2021 article on New Brunswick Today. Parking deck designer remains on federal board after indecent assault conviction. In that article, some of you may remember that the company in question, THA Consulting, was doing work for the Improvement Authority related to the Cancer Center. And that was terminated. The attorney for the board at the time said we should be aware that THA is no longer involved with the project. We're working to gain another vendor. Jim Nolan, the chair of this board, said, quote, they're being replaced. I guess my question is, what changed since then that this vendor that had to be replaced previously is now going to come back in, and why are you bringing these folks back?
Any update on that information, Jim?
Well, it is that the leadership of that organization, it's run by an individual named Jim Zullo, who is a professional in the parking industry. He has, I believe, an unblemished record in assisting municipalities and counties, not only in New Jersey, but really around the country with parking and parking enhancements. We see his experience level, especially his knowledge of the area, since he's from the area, being invaluable in helping us navigate through some of the issues that we need some assistance within our parking planning and growth of our parking division. I can't speak to who was involved years ago and what they may or may not have been involved in at the time, but to my knowledge, that's not the case with this company at this point in time. So I don't have any more details about anything that may have happened several years ago.
Okay. I will note for the record, I believe Mr. Zullo is a board member at the MCUA, and I'll also note my own concerns about this company, largely stemming from this controversy related to their founder and the past president. And yeah, I've got to just express my concerns stem mainly from the fact that they never reckoned with this controversy directly. I reached out to them for comments and was even prompted the intervention of a crisis communications firm, which said, "Oh yeah, we'll get you a statement. We're looking into it. We're gonna make a statement," and then never did. And Mr. Zullo never gave any comment. Other executives at the firm were non-responsive to outreach. So I feel like the blemish that was on this company's record has not been resolved or erased due to simply a name change and personnel changes. The new leaders have not acknowledged this situation, at least not to me, despite giving them every opportunity to do so back in 2021. So I would encourage the board to hold off on this resolution. If you're not familiar with the firm, take some time to look into it and look into their history. You can read my article, again, published August 25th, 2021 on newbrunswicktoday.com. And yeah, I guess I would like to learn a little bit more about what they would be doing. You mentioned expanding the county's parking division. Would that mean new construction of new decks or acquisition of other decks or some other type of expansion? What is envisioned for the parking division?
Sure. As you know, Charlie, we're currently involved in a couple of parking operations. We have the parking deck in Carteret. We have a parking deck that just got completed in New Brunswick. There will be a parking element to the train station in North Brunswick. We are also looking at other parking opportunities that may present themselves. We'll also be involved with the new parking operations at the CIO project at Middlesex County College, which is going to be a rather elaborate parking system there for the needs of that project. So we are bringing in the consultant to help us develop the fundamentals of and organization of our division as we look at growth, staffing needs, and putting together short-term and long-term plans. We want to make sure that we're developing a parking division that meets the needs of our communities and our particular parking decks. And we believe that the consultant can help us in many ways because of their experience level in putting these kinds of initiatives together with respect to budget, staffing, operations, et cetera.
Thanks. And is there any not to exceed amount or any sort of like hourly rate or monthly rate for their services? Can you tell me those?
Yes, there's a not to exceed amount of $30,500 in the agreement.
Got it. And it's for 1 year?
Yes.
Okay. The only other question I had was on the some of the items. I did watch the local finance board today, and I noticed an interesting question came up with respect to the recent comptroller's report about the ESCNJ, and I was just curious if the folks at the MCIA are up to speed on that comptroller's report, and if you had any insights or comments on changes that might be happening at the ESCNJ because of that.
Well, I think that the comment that was made by the commission director today at the LFB had to do with the fact that the ESNJ is enjoying a certain amount of reserves, and we see that as being, and I think she commented that there's really nothing wrong with a public entity having reserves. She kind of, I believe, laughed and said, she was certainly supportive of that, and simply wanted to know if the savings that are going to inure to the benefit of ESNJ as a result of this financing were specifically earmarked for something, or would also be kind of bundled together with current reserves. And our understanding is it's being put together with current reserves. ESNJ, I think, has always had a good history of being very prudent in the way that they buy and purchase and fund their elements. And I think, we would certainly be nothing much less than complimentary to say they're doing a good job being able to develop a hefty reserve, a healthy reserve, I should say, as a public agency.
All right, well, yeah, thanks for addressing all my questions on the resolutions. That's all for now.
Thank you, Charlie. Approval of resolutions. Can I have a motion and second for approval of the consent agenda resolutions?
Motion, Christine.
Second, Yukna.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Payment of vouchers. Can we have a motion and second to approve payment of expenses?
Motion,
Motion.
Yukna.
Second, Christine.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is there any member of the public who wishes to be heard on any topic? If so, please identify yourself and where you're from.
There's one member of the public. Charlie, you still have the right to talk.
Okay, Charlie?
Great. Hey, again, Charlie Cradaville, New Brunswick today. Just wanted to note, I heard at the top of the call, even commissioners and board professionals having difficulty joining the meeting, and I think some folks who would have benefit from improved access to the meeting, like being able to see the other participants, see who's in the meeting. I don't see why this call can't be like the local finance board call that occurred earlier today, which wasn't perfect, but at least people could join with a link. That does make it a lot easier than having to type in a bunch of numbers into your phone just to get through. And I think that it would be better for us all to see each other if possible. And it appears that some of you can see each other if you want to, and those of us in the public don't get that level of access. No good reason has been given for this, so I'm going to continue to harp on it and ask you to please give us the same access that you get to the meeting so that we can see what you see. And there's no reason not to have the video component to the meeting. There's no reason not to have an in-person component to the meeting. And there's no reason not to share your recordings of the meeting proactively rather than, require us to Oprah request them and then share the video ourselves. Would just encourage you to open up the meetings with better transparency. Other boards have been doing it for years now, and we're still using old technology like the telephone to have every meeting. I do want to just ask if I'll see any of you tomorrow at the Heldrick Hotel. Is that an event the MCIA is participating in?
I will be attending, Lois Yukna.
Great. Well, I will say hello to you there, and
I will
maybe,
be attending, Christine.
Oh, great. Well, I hope to see you there, and I'll work to get a recording of that and post that on the New Brunswick Today YouTube channel, just like we always try to get your meetings on this outlet for the public to learn about what the authority's doing, and appreciate you hearing me out. I'm just like the only person that joins the meetings, and I think it would be better if you opened it up more, and maybe more people would join if you did that. So that's the takeaway. I hope you take my advice, and appreciate you hearing me out tonight. Have a good one.
Thank you, Charlie. Executive session. Carol, do we have an executive session?
No, there's no need for an executive session.
Then I will ask for any comments from commissioners about anything else we discussed this evening. If not, I'll ask for a motion. I'm sorry? Did I miss something? I'm sorry. I'll ask for a motion and second to adjourn the meeting.
Motion, Yukna.
Second, Christine.
Thank you. Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you, everyone.